In the village of Yoluwe, there lived a young man called Nwanne. He had a girlfriend called Ginika. They were so much in love that everyone in the village was happy with them because they fitted one another like a wrapper to a blouse. Nwanne's parents were very poor, but they were an upright and virtuous family. They loved Nwanne's relationship with Ginika and urged Nwanne to propose to her because she was a good girl. When Nwanne went to see Jinika's parents with his family for a hand in marriage, they were driven out of their home. Jinika's father drove them out because they were poor and not a fit for their daughter's hand in marriage. Get out of this house, shouted Jinika's father. Go away, you poor and wretched family. Who wants the likes of you? The surprised Nwanne tried to appeal to the family and calmly talk to them, but they would not listen to him. Did you not hear what I said? Asked Jinika's father in anger. So you want to give my beautiful daughter Ginika a bad luck. That's why you are here to seek for her hand in marriage. But father, Nwanne said in a humble voice, I love your daughter. I want to marry her. Is that a bad thing? Heavens forbid, exclaimed Jinika's father. Heavens forbid. That's bad market. Of all the young men, of all the rich men in this village, it is you, wretched and poor Nwanne, that's coming for my daughter's hand in marriage, eh? He surprised Nwanne and his parents were shocked at the reception they were given by Jinika's father. Does it mean a poor man cannot marry the woman he loves anymore in this world? Asked Nwanne's mother, perplexed. Definitely she will not starve in our home. Yes, oh, shouted Jinika's father. She will not starve. But with the status I have today as the richest man in this village, you must think twice before coming to seek my daughter's hand in marriage because your family is very poor and wretched. Nwanne's mother began to cry. Mother, let's go. Stop crying. Don't cry anymore, Nwanne said to his mother, leading her out of the house. This is a big slap in the face, mother. Please, let's go. As they were leaving, Nwanne heard Jinika's voice talking to her father. Father, please allow them to come in. I love Nwanne and let him marry me. I want to marry me. He's the one I want. They heard the sound of a heavy slap as they left the house, and Nwanne knew Ginika was being beaten. Jinika's family were the richest in the village, but Ginika had fallen in love with Nwanne without thinking of the world classification of humans and their financial situations. Nwanne and his family felt the insult so much. The insult was much. Nwanne decided to leave the village for the city. I'd better leave this place and go and hustle if my creator will help me to raise my family high away from this poverty level that they are laughing us, they are using to laugh at us, he said. Moreover, Jinika's family forbade Ginika from meeting Nwanne again or seeing him to enable them cut the link between the two of them. So with annoyance, Nwanne left the village for the city. 7 years later, Nwanne had struggled to become a very wealthy young man. He was now 32 years of age, owning a very big manufacturing company. He had succeeded in building a very big mansion for his parents at home and bought them several cars. Nwanne's family were now the talk of the village, and everyone respected them very well. Nwanne had been lucky to work under a man who manufactured toiletries in a small scale, but he was an expert in them. And Nwanne had learnt the original way of doing the things. Every day he saved the money his boss gave him for food and saved also from the salary he was paid, eating barely 3 times a day. When he finally gained his freedom from his master that had taught him the act of making toiletries, he invested all his savings into the business. Luckily for him, the business boomed and he raised it to a higher level than his boss and prospered. Nwanne built a big warehouse And the company grew. Nwanne's company needed more workers to work in the company, a gate man and other workers to occupy places there. So he told his manager to place an advert and employ people, which his manager did and employed some. So the day that he was to come and see the workers, Nwanne drove to his company. The new gate man came to open the gate for him. Nwanne drove in and parked his car and got out of the car. As he got out of the car, the new gate man knelt down before him, greeting him, welcoming him with others. The elderly gate man, as he knelt down before him, Nwanne held him and said, "Stand up. Don't you ever kneel for me as your worker. As a worker, don't you ever kneel for me anymore. Life today may be this way. You never can tell what tomorrow may hold." As this man got up and said, "Yes, boss," the elderly man replied and stood up. He looked into Nwanne's eyes. The elderly man looked into Nwanne's eyes, and Nwanne was shocked at the pair of eyes staring deep into his own. Could he be dreaming? He asked himself. "No, this can't be," he exclaimed. "My heavens, what am I seeing?" "Yes, boss," the elderly man replied. "It's me, Ojinika's father." But quickly, Nwanne recovered himself and walked away from them towards his office. That day, when Nwanne got home, he quickly sent a message to his mom about the elderly man who had knelt down for him, answering him, "Sir," and "Yes, boss." He couldn't believe it. It was that same Ojinika's father that had driven him from the house, that he cannot marry his daughter. That same Jinika's father was the one now kneeling before him as the gate man. Nwanne's mother was surprised when he heard the message. She came to the city and went to her son's company to witness it all herself. And there she said, "No condition in life, my son, is permanent. You may have today and tomorrow someone else will have and become richer than you. You may also think that the world is big and you cannot need the help of others, but the world may be big, yet it's a small world." One parents were surprised. His mother was not the type to bear things, so she ordered Jinika's father to be called to her son's office. When he got there, he could not bring himself to face Nwanne and his mother. He explained to them how he had lost everything and decided to relocate to the city with his family to find a job and be able to eat. And that was why he had gotten the security job as a gate man. When asked about his family, he said Ginika and her mother were now hawking things in the market so that they could be able to make ends meet. It's terrible. Nwanne could not believe his eyes. The next day, he went to the market where they said Ginika was hawking things. And as he drove to the place, he saw Ginika running towards him to sell to him what she was hawking, bread. As soon as he stepped out of the car in his immaculate attire, Ojinika saw him and ran to hug him. He recognized, ran to hug him. The two hugged and shed tears of joy at missing each other and seeing one another again. Realizing her situation, her present situation, Ginika pulled away from him and said, "I'm sorry, I've dirtied your clothing. I was carried away at seeing you, and of course, you are very wealthy now. I can see you are a rich man now." "Never mind, my love," he said. "Sorry. Will you marry me?" He proposed instantly without thinking of class distinction and anything about personal status. Jinika's family, ashamed of themselves, could not bring themselves to look at him, but Ginika agreed to marry him. And when the whole thing was presented to them, the family accepted, now being downtrodden with their situation. That is life. Nature used Jinika's father to raise Nwanne up to become a rich man, an important personality in the society, while that same nature brought Ojinika's father down to humble and make him to never underestimate people in life anymore. That's the end of the story. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.